am happy to be your humble moderator for this session. I cannot go on without thanking our special guest, of course, for accepting to take part in this eminent media training session. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the program of today is timed for an hour. As you can see in your respective schedule, the speaker shall unveil her presentation for 40 minutes, then the remaining 20 minutes shall be reserved for question and answer session with the participants. Dear participants, you know the drill and how the question and answer session shall roll up. I don't need to read the instructions anymore. Please, I do invite each and every one of you to be concise and specific with your questions, since this session is taking place on a virtual space, and today we have just only 1 hour. Added to that, kindly mute your respective mic during the session so we can avoid any interruptions during the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, let us delve into today's topic, which shall focus on effective social media content. As you all know, in a digital world like ours, the usage of social media has no limitations and barriers in accessing information. We are prone and exposed to a lot of fake news and all sorts of distorted information online. Hence, it is important to create an effective content when reporting through social media in order for us to honor the credibility of the platform we are using. This shall be explained by our honorable speaker, but before handing over the mic to her, allow me to say a few things about herself. Her resume is very enriching, of course, and I would like to say the most essential things about her to our inquisitive audience. Our guest speaker of this session is a holder of a bachelor degree in Science of Business Administration. She specialized in general management and also have a minor degree in psychology from the Carnegie Mellon University. She is also a holder of a master's degree of media in journalism and communication from the University of Western Ontario. She is currently a research fellow at the College of Islamic Studies at Hamad bin Khalifa University. She conducts research on topics related to Islam and global affairs by carrying out literature reviews, interviewing subjects, and analyzing data. She designs media material and websites, produces videos, and manages social media content. She also worked in the past as a junior account executive for Hill Knowlton Strategies and a video producer at Al Jazeera English news channel. During her years at the university, she was very active in various fields and occupied positions such as student project management, student ambassador, correspondent for Qatar Living. She is very fluent in Arabic, English, and I just learned she's also learning French at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Bayan Nizan Khaled. The stage and virtual space is all yours, Ms. Bayan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I think a lot of you know me from the volunteer training. I hope that I can be just as, or the information that I share could be just as valuable as the one I shared with you in the volunteer training. So as you've heard, I have a master's in journalism and communication. I discovered halfway through my bachelor's degree that I had a passion for creating content or media and like that area, which is why even now, even though I'm not working in specifically like journalism or a news channel or anything, I either try to apply what I'm passionate about in my own personal platforms, or I do research on Islam and social media in the job that I'm currently in. So I have a really strong interest in social media. I think it's because of my age, because I'm a millennial. I was born in 1995, so I grew up with the internet. I'm sure just like the rest of you. So yeah, I guess let's get started. I'll share my screen here, and we'll see what we have. So my presentation is about effective social media content and introduction and presentation. And let's begin with looking over why some people might be interested in sharing social media content or creating social media content. So sometimes they just want to create funny skits, like a funny video, like a Vine or a TikTok or something like that. I used to do that a couple of years ago, but when you're trying different things, you see what works for you and what doesn't. So it worked for me for a while, and then it just didn't feel like me anymore. And you discover what you're good at, I guess. Some people might use it for business marketing. So in their companies, when they want to promote their business or their idea or their services or products or whatever, they'll use social media content. Sometimes they'll use it to report the news. Sometimes if they have like a topic or a debate they want to discuss or they want to give their opinions on, they'll do it with social media content. Sometimes it's just a hobby. When you're, something you're good at, maybe you're good at cooking or painting or something, and you just want to share your talents with using social media, or sometimes you just do it when you're bored. So now if we look at the different types of social media content, we can see there are many. There's electronic books. You can post something that will lead you to something else. Images, videos, live videos, infographics, like stop motion, animation. There's so many different types of social media content you can be creating. So today we're going to focus on news reporting and topic discussion, and we're going to focus on video specifically because that is my area of expertise. So first of all, let's look at why we are focusing on social media content to begin with. The human attention span has been getting much shorter over the years. So if we look at 2000, the human attention span was 12 seconds. In 2013, and this is during the time that internet and social media started to become on the rise, it went all the way down to 8 seconds. That's literally less than the average attention span of a goldfish. A goldfish is only 9 seconds. So with social media, and knowing that the human attention span is so short, we need to think about how we can create social media content that will capture our attention and keep it. In this day and age where it's not that important, or like it's not that long. So I want to, before we go through all the tips and everything, I want to show you a video that I did during my master's degree. This was the first video I did, and I thought this would be the best example to show you because it's someone who was just learning about this, someone who's like you in training, and has actually tried actively to, apply some of the lessons that I've learned in my master's degree to create this video as an assignment. So this is a news report that I did. It was just a couple of minutes. And during the video, or maybe after the video, I want you to write down in the chat box what you think is good about this news report and what you think could be improved. Generally, when you want to give someone feedback or constructive criticism, those are the two questions you answer. You don't tell them that their video is bad because of this, that. You tell them, I liked this, but here's what I think you could do better. So yeah, let me show you the first video I did. I hope you like it, and I hope you learn from it. Here you go.
Islamophobia has been on the rise since Syrian refugees came to Canada. Muslims want to feel like they belong as part of the community in London. They get together with other Muslims like themselves to feel like they have a safe space and a place where they're a minority.
Many people out there don't like the fact that I identify as a Muslim.
Young Muslims like Samira Khalid try to provide this space for others as part of the Muslim Student Association at Western University. Her role as an executive member in this club is to organize social events for Muslims in London.
The reason why a space like Muslim Student Association is important is because as Muslims, we're living in an environment where our needs as a minority are not obvious or not evident.
As part of the university, Muslim chaplain Omar Salam is there to guide young Muslims and give them advice when they need it. When they feel out of place, his role is to empower them and help them feel safe.
No matter what phase we're going on in life, we all would like sometimes a hand to kind of, nudge us through and make our journey more gentler. So hopefully that's something, that hope to play a role in and hope to advocate and connect with the obviously campus community, but also the wider Muslim community and even the wider London community.
In the next 3 years, Canada will admit almost 1 million immigrants, many of whom will be Muslims. The Muslim community will continue trying to create a safe space for themselves and welcome others to it in hopes of reducing the effects of Islamophobia. Bayan Khalid, Western News, London.
Okay, so I want to look at the chat here for a second, see if there's any feedback. Okay, so far there's nothing. So far presentation. Okay, so someone said absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. But this is my first video, so I didn't expect it to be perfect, and this is the point of us all being here, so we can learn to make ourselves better. Someone messaged me privately saying, good voice narration, performance, and quality, smooth transition between footage, and improvements the quality of the video. And then someone just said, I liked it so much. Thank you so much. This is amazing video because in quick video, you showed a lot of things. Okay, great. So I got a little bit of feedback. Now, for those of you who maybe are thinking of things but didn't type it, that's fine, because I'm going to show you the video at the end of the presentation so you can, basically take what you learned from the presentation and apply it in your feedback as well. This is something actually that my professor did during my master's program. He showed us a video at the very beginning of the semester before we learned anything, and he asked us those two questions. And then, we gave whatever comments we could give. To us, like as people who haven't studied yet or haven't learned yet, it seemed almost perfect. To us, we were like, okay, we don't have any comments really. But during the semester, as we learned more and more lessons, and I'm going to try to compress all those lessons into 30 minutes, we learned a lot of things, and he showed us the same video at the end of the semester, and he asked us the same questions again. And of course, then we had completely different answers, or we had a lot more to say. So you could add a little more background at the beginning. Yeah, okay. Maybe the AVP can be improved more. Short and sweet report, but add infographics. Okay, great. So now let's move on to the tips, I guess. Okay, so here are my general tips. Keep it short. A lot of people said what they liked about it is that it's short and sweet, so that's very good. You want to keep whatever you are doing really short because, again, our attention span is really short. Use simple language. So this is what is different about video content rather than written content, especially for social media. Because our attention span is so limited, and because, we're seeing something and listening to something at the same time, we can't, multitask that much. We're not very good at multitasking. So we need to make the language that we use either in narration or even in like the written language very, very simple. Don't use any complicated words so that people can understand and keep up with what you're saying or what you're doing. Make it visual and constantly changing. So don't stick to the same clip all the time. Like, don't put a 1-minute video of the same thing that's happening. So one of the first comment I got was that it was a nice transition between footage. So make sure you have that you have a variety of footage and that there is nice and smooth transition between them. Make sure the audio is clear and use the appropriate tone. Use a high quality camera. Those are obvious. Make sure the lighting is good and consistent. So the issue is sometimes when you go from like a dark room to outside or whatever, like the lighting changes a lot. So make sure that while you're recording that you calibrate the lighting settings so that it's all the same and it's all smooth and it doesn't look like a completely different video that you just attached or like a mistake or something. So make sure that it's all consistent and clear. Make sure the screen is centered. So when you're interviewing someone, you don't want them to be like over here or over here. You want them to be in the middle. There's a good space between the head and the top of the screen and the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then make sure that your message is clear. So a lot of times, we'll put a video and then, at the end of it, you're like, okay, so what was the point of the video? I don't understand. Like, what's the message here? So make sure that you have a clear message, either at the beginning or the end, depending on whatever the message is. Okay, so now specifically talking about news reports, tips about that. Don't use too many numbers. So a lot of people will be like, 86% of the population, which happens to be 1.2 million experience, whatever. Again, our attention span is very short. We cannot keep up with all these numbers, especially if we're listening and watching. If it's like a newspaper article, then fine, that's a different story. Then the person can just go back and reread it and understand it properly. And it can be long and it can be complicated and all of that, that's fine. But when you're doing videos, write as if you're a child, right? As if you're talking to a child. You want the child to understand. So this is just our brain. We need to understand, and in order to do that with our short attention span, you need to keep it as simple as possible. Don't use jump shots. So basically, if you want to go from, don't use like for example, I'm recording a video now. I can't use this cut or this clip and then jump straight to another clip that looks just like it, or like from a similar angle. You want to do, for example, you want to move from one clip that's like from far and then transition into a close-up, for example, and then transition to a different angle, you don't want to use like similar clips after each other because it just looks like a mistake, or it looks like it's been cut. Okay, yes, have a beginning, middle, and end. Obviously, like I said, you want to make sure the message is clear. So if you don't have a beginning, middle, and end, nobody's going to understand the flow of your video. So you want to introduce the story. Someone said add a little more background information. So that could be one thing, for example. Explain the impact and importance of the video or your message, and then conclude with, for example, what does the future look like? Put the most important information first, because again, like I said, our attention span is very short. Maybe halfway through the video, we'll be like, okay, we're bored, or like, okay, I got what I needed, or whatever. So make sure you have the most important information first, because that's when the attention span is still working. Again, use different angles. Don't make it all the same. Don't make it like boring or whatever. You also want to make it visually interesting and appealing. Include relevant shots. This might seem self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised. Like, for example, if you're going to do a news report and you're going to like talk about, someone who, like, let's say you're doing a feature about someone who does fishing. You don't want to get shots of them like at a cafe or something. That doesn't make sense. Like, if the story is about them doing fishing, then have shots of them actually fishing or dealing with fish or cleaning the fish or whatever. Like, make sure that it's relevant to the story. Include natural sound. So this is something that was so important that our professor told us, and I actually didn't realize this. I thought that natural sound was bad and that it's distracting, but that's actually what you need to do. Like, natural sound is, for example, if I'm getting a shot of someone at a cafe, and I'm narrating over the story, I want to get the sounds of the cafe, like the people whispering in the background and the clinking of the cups and all of that. Like, those are all natural sounds, because if you completely mute that out, it doesn't seem like the video doesn't look or feel natural. So you're going to want to have those sounds, but like very low, like not too high so that you can't hear the narration, but low enough so that you can feel like, okay, this is a natural video. Don't assume prior knowledge on the part of your viewers. Again, you're pretending like you're talking to a child, so don't assume that this person knows everything about the topic, which is why the beginning is very important for you to give some background information. Be neutral. You don't want to say you don't want to use words that indicate that you're on some certain side. So unfortunately, this is what a lot of news channels do, like Fox News or whatever, they're so pro like Trump or pro war or pro whatever. So they'll try to make the language in favor of that as well, so they can get their audience to think so as well. You want to be as neutral as possible. You don't want to make it sound like you're on any certain side. And then put attribution first. So for example, you don't want to be saying like a sentence and then say this person said. You want to say this person said blah, blah, blah. Because if you do it the other way around, people are going to think that the news channel or the narrator, the person talking means that, but it's not you talking. It's just you saying that someone else said something. So the example I give here is Democrats are ignorant, Trump says. If you do that, the first reaction people are going to get is, what the hell? This is not neutral. This is not how a news channel should be. So make sure you say Trump says Democrats are ignorant, so it's clearer. And then contractions. If you want to keep the language simple, don't say it is or they are. You want to use it's and their, as if you're talking to someone. Again, this is not written. It doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be simple, sound like you're talking to a friend. Of course, keep it professional, but this is how you do it. This is one example of you doing it. Again, going back to the neutral point, avoid words that color or taint the story. For example, don't use words like martyr or terrorist or freedom fighter. So this is the problem that we have with the media today, and why so many people are scared of Muslims and why Islamophobia is so on the rise, because this is what media channels are doing. Like in the West, when they talk about an attack or a shooting or a bombing or whatever, they'll be like radical Muslims and, like these terrorists and whatever. And like, they'll use all these words to make the rest of the world truly believe that, okay, it's the Muslims, they're terrorists, those Muslims, they're terrorists. And this is the problem. You don't want to use words like that to paint a picture for the audience. You want to give them the information and they do what they want with that information. They think what they want, but you don't do the thinking for them. And finally, don't write about people who are not on screen, or name one person when there are several people shown on screen. So for example, when you say you're about to interview someone or you're doing the report on someone, and in your narration, you're introducing the person, make sure that the person alone is in the shot while you're talking at the same time. Don't have like a bunch of people and then say, this person, or like John is a fisher who likes to whatever, and then have like a bunch of people on screen. Who is John? Like, people will not know who John is or who the fisher is. You want to make sure that what you're saying is in sync with what is being shown. So we're done with the news reporting. Now when we talk, of course, news reporting, like generally you want it to be like 2 or 3 minutes. Unless it's a documentary, then it's going to be like half an hour, 1 hour, maybe a series, you don't know. But when it comes to long videos, so this is aside from news reporting, this is like if you want to do something for yourself, or if you're working for a company where they do videos where they like teach you something or give information or, things like that, or discuss a topic, anything like that. Those are the tips. So keep it interesting and concise. It's going to be a long video. Sometimes when you're doing a topic discussion, you can't squeeze all the information into 1 or 2 minutes. That's like really hard to do because there's so much information and it's all important. So it's going to be probably like a 5-minute video or possibly more, depending. So make sure it's interesting and concise. Don't repeat anything. If you feel like you're repeating something, cut it out, like even after you filmed and everything. I've done this before. Like I post videos about topic discussions on my personal Instagram page. And a lot of times I'll be editing the video, and after I wrote the script and after I filmed and after everything, I'm listening to it and I'm like, wow, I said this like 5 times already in the video. So I'll cut it out, and you'd be surprised. Like I would take a few minutes out of the video just because I would notice that. So with long videos, especially if it's your own personal platform, this is your chance to get creative. So for me personally, when I use my my own personal Instagram page, I try to make it creative. Like my skills are limited, but using what I know, I try to apply it to make it more creative, because no one is there to tell me, no, this doesn't fit our format, or no, this isn't how our company does things, or whatever, So you have complete freedom to decide whatever you want. If you think it works, great, do it. If you think it doesn't, try something else. You have the freedom. Maybe you can add some humor, maybe, put a little bit of your personality in it. I don't know, just get creative. You can even add some breaks to keep people focused. So this is something that I actually saw in one of my friend's Instagram pages. He is a paramedic and he does videos, informational videos, teaching you some facts. So one of the videos I saw recently was him teaching his audience how to read a heart rate. Like, you know, the beep, beep, beep on the monitor, like how to understand it, because we don't, like, I've never, he never really thought about that until he actually put that video. So it was like a 5-minute video, but in order to keep us focused, he put 2 breaks in the video, and the breaks included like a few seconds of like a funny video or a meme or like something that has nothing to do with the video at all, but it's just to give your brain a break from all that intensive information. I thought it was really creative, and you know, he did it because he doesn't have a boss telling him that, you know, this doesn't fit our format. So it worked, I think. And the last thing I have to say is, if you have the skill set, then add like animations or illustrations or any kind of visuals that you can to make it more visually pleasing and engaging. And if you don't have that skill set, then consider teaching yourself so that you can apply it in your videos. So now I want to show you a video as an example, one of the videos that I have on my personal Instagram page to teach you. So this video, when I initially recorded it, it was 10 minutes long. I managed to cut it down to half the time because I took out all the unimportant things, or things that I don't think add value to the video or to the story, or things that I just repeated too much. Half the time, imagine. So let me see if it works here, because if it doesn't, we'll just open it. Okay, so I'll have to open it on YouTube. 1 second. Okay. So here's just I won't show you the whole thing because it's 4.5 minutes and we're kind of running out of time, but I'll show you like half of it. And if you're interested, I'll put my Instagram page in the chat box. And if you care to watch these types of videos or learn, you know, take ideas from them to make your own videos, then you can do that as well.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ride with B. After my first episode about not judging people came out, a lot of people asked me to comment on how to advise people. So today's episode, how to advise. We have a problem. Sometimes people genuinely have good intentions and really do want to advise you, but we've become so overly sensitive and defensive and switch to attack mode the second someone says something that goes against what we say or do, even if it's said in the nicest, most loving and genuine way possible. I feel you need to be logical and realistic when you want to give advice. For example, you can't go up to someone getting drunk in a nightclub advising them to go to the masjid for qiyam al-layl. Shway. If you have the ability to message this person privately where no one even knows you've done it, then do that. Because saying it publicly brings attention and shame to the situation from other people. We always pray, Ya Rab ustur awrati. So when someone comes along and publicly reveals your flaws or whatever the situation is, even if it's in a nice way, it's not ideal. It may also lead to a lot of people thinking that you're only doing this to make yourself look good. There's a hadith that says, if a human covers the sins of his fellow human on earth, God shall cover for him on the day of judgment. This also applies.
Okay, so I'll just show you this much because we'll run out of time otherwise. But you know, you get the idea. So what I did here to make it more interesting was, you know, like add the GIFs. I don't have the skill set to, you know, make my own like animation or illustrations or like put graphs or whatever. I don't know how to do that. So, you know, I worked with whatever skills I had to add the GIFs and, you know, make the edits and all of that. And I got the ring lights and I got the, actually, I just used my phone. It was really good quality. And, you know, I used Photoshop to edit the photo and, you know, I did all of that. I used whatever skill set I had to make it as best as I could, given what I have. So, you know, like if you care so much or if you're that passionate about it, invest in equipment, invest in your time and everything to make whatever you're doing the best that you can make it, and do it because you love it. And it'll be the best if you really do it for that reason and not for like, you know, like the popularity or the fame or whatever. Like, I'm not doing this for followers. I'm genuinely doing this because I enjoy doing it. So I'll show you an example of a video that doesn't have audio. So it doesn't have a person who is talking, saying, you know, this person or this report or whatever, you know, like it doesn't have a person. It's just text. And this is something that a lot of news companies started doing, like AJ Plus. And I did work for AJ Plus, so I did a lot of these types of videos as well during the time that I was with them. This is perfect for mobile use because let's say, I feel bad for saying this, but let's say someone is in a classroom and they don't want to like listen to the audio, but they're interested to see the visual, and you know, they're in the middle of a classroom, so they'll just watch it and they'll read everything. Again, in this situation, you need to keep it short and simple. So I'll give you, and I won't show you the whole thing either, but a short example of something that I did also in my master's degree. I think this was, I showed you before, the first project I ever did. This is the last project I ever did in that semester.
I'm hard of hearing, profoundly deaf. Okay, I can take it off. Hi, my name is Sarah Simo. This is how I talk. I have no control over it. I'm gonna put it back on. This is me now. Did you notice the change? One time I had it off and my mom was calling me. I was sleeping at the time. I think I was off for like 3 hours and my mom started to get worried. All the students that I'm with, they're all normal students, and they don't understand what I went through, and they feel that being deaf is like, whoa, sorry, like I don't know how to deal with you kind of thing. And sometimes they'll have to talk slow or talk loud, or sometimes they just don't talk at all. Every time the phone rings, I don't answer. So I pretend that I'm not at the desk. And once I found out that someone is calling me, I go to the person and say, hey, you called?
So this is just a little bit of the video. I think I have all these videos on my website or my YouTube channel. I use it as a portfolio because if I want to apply for jobs, then I have everything in one space. So I think all of these videos are there if you want to take a look at them. I'll also write down my website link and my Instagram page so that you can get access to everything. So let's go back to this video. I'm going to show it to you one more time, and I'm waiting for the comments for you to tell me after you've heard everything that I told you, after all the tips and everything, for you to think about the video again and tell me what you think you liked about the video or what you think could be improved.
Islamophobia has been on the rise since Syrian refugees came to Canada. Muslims want to feel like they belong as part of the community in London. They get together with other Muslims like themselves to feel like they have a safe space in a place where they're a minority.
Many people out there don't like the fact that I identify as a Muslim.
Young Muslims like Samira Khalid try to provide this space for others as part of the Muslim Student Association at Western University. Her role as an executive member in this club is to organize social events for Muslims in London.
The reason why a space like Muslim Student Association is important is because as Muslims, we're living in an environment where our needs as a minority are not obvious or not evident.
As part of the university, Muslim chaplain Omar Salam is there to guide young Muslims and give them advice when they need it. When they feel out of place, his role is to empower them and help them feel safe.
No matter what phase we're going on in life, we all would like sometimes a hand to kind of, nudge us through and make our journey more gentler. So hopefully that's something, that I hope to play a role in and hope to advocate and connect with the obviously campus community, but also the wider Muslim community and even the wider London community.
In the next 3 years, Canada will admit almost 1 million immigrants, many of whom will be Muslims. The Muslim community will continue trying to create a safe space for themselves and welcome others to it in hopes of reducing the effects of Islamophobia. Bayan Khalid, Western News, London.
Okay, let's look at your comments. So, well, you guys have a lot of comments. Okay. You could have shots from different angles. Okay, Instagram. Sorry, I'm just, the lighting, yes, absolutely, I agree. The lighting sucks in my video. Like, it's very inconsistent. Like, sometimes it's like too dark, other times it's too light. Like, it's not consistent. And I would say someone like up there said something about the quality of the video. I'll tell you, like, the quality of the audio is really bad. Like, I remember when I was showing this to the class, there was one scene when I was interviewing the guy at the end, Omar Salam. He was the like the Muslim counselor in the university. I even was like, what is he saying? I couldn't hear it because it was so low, and I didn't notice until after I did the video and everything, and it was too late. But, you know, this is how I learned my lesson, to make sure that the audio throughout my video is consistent and clear and high. Seems like there's a mismatch between the pictures and audio. I like the audio so much and voice so clear. Obviously, I guess you could improve videos and match perfectly with you. Okay, so thank you so much. I think maybe what helped me is that my voice was clear in the video, and I tried to keep it simple with simple language. So maybe that's what helped the audio. But I think especially the part when I was interviewing the guy, it was really bad, and I needed to, you know, pay attention to that. It's simple and informative. However, the reporter seems to imagining audiences know about the facts at hand. Therefore, it could be a little bit good if you add a little background, especially in the beginning. Yep, this is the second time I get that comment. So clearly, I missed some sort of background information. The shots can be smoothly added to each other. I guess the frame for the shot, the woman was reading the Holy Quran, and the scene the guy was explaining could be wider, so the logo behind could be known clearly. Sure. Is the introduction audio not too loud? The whole thing is not too loud. I'm really sorry about that, but this is why, you know, we see, like, before we learn the information, after we learn the information, how important it is to apply it. I like that you use natural ambient sound, but I think that was a little bit loud. Maybe there were some parts in the video where it was loud, or maybe it was taking over my audio, which is bad. You need to make sure that your audio is the one that's more dominant. The name of the place could be written as inscription as well. Mismatch because of the sharing screen through Zoom. Okay, yeah, maybe. The video needs some graphics. Okay, so generally I agree with you, but when it came to like that sort of news report, and especially again, if you're like working with a company and you have to go through their rules and stuff, maybe, you know, sorry? Yeah, so maybe like it wasn't an option for me to add, like, for example, graphs or numbers or whatever. I just had to add shots. But I tried to find interesting shots. This was the best I could do. Sometimes you're really limited with your options, but you have to, like, this is actually one of the tips that I completely forgot to add, but you will never have enough shots. Like, you need to take hours worth of shots. And even then, you'll realize while you're editing that it's not enough. This is something that I learned during my master's degree. I kept taking shots, and then I'd get bored and I'd get tired and I just want to go home. And then it comes time for me to edit after I've left and everything's over, and I go like, oh, well, I don't have enough shots. So you have to work with what you have. I like the video because it's simple, clear, and easy to understand, but I suggest that when you present the interview footage, you can add some information for the interviews, like his. Absolutely, yes. This is something I didn't put in the tips, but 100% agree with, and that's what they do in the news segments as well. Thank you very much for that. Very good feedback. Infographics, again, it wasn't an option for me to add infographics here, but if you're doing your own personal video, I agree. Infographics are very important. Like the one I did in my my how to advise video in my Instagram page. I tried to add, like when I was talking about the hadith, I tried to reference or add a picture of the hadith in Arabic, or, you know, like if I'm talking about a certain Quranic verse, then I'll add the verse. If I want to keep it more interesting, I wanted to add the GIF, so it's not just a whole video of me talking for 5 minutes. So yeah, definitely, if you have the opportunity to add visuals, do that. Well packaged, good location, action shots, piece to camera would have done it better. Limited shots, neighborhood or populated cutaways would boost in setting atmosphere. Yep, need to get more variety in the shots. What sort of video edition softwares or apps would you recommend for beginners? Well, I started on iMovie when I was in school and university. And then later on, when I graduated, I taught myself how to use Premiere Pro, like the Adobe Suite software. And I really love it. That's the one that I use the most. Some people use Final Cut, but I've never used it, so I have no idea if it's any good, but a lot of people, say it is. In university, they taught us something called, I completely forgot what it's called because I've never used it outside of university, and I was actually really mad at them for not teaching us other programs or other softwares. Like, that was the one they used, and they said that that's what all news channels use and you need to know how to use it and whatever. I even forgot the name. That's how bad the software was. It was really bad. So, use whatever works for you. And usually they're all more or less the same. So you can easily teach yourself or adapt to yourself to learn new softwares wherever you are or wherever you end up working. Okay, so now I guess we moved on to the general questions. So before we get to that, I'll let the ICYF team, take it from there. But before we deal with that, I'll just take you to my last slide, which is a final piece of advice. Educate yourself. So this is very, very, very important. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Premiere Pro, Photoshop, InDesign, all these Adobe softwares, no one taught me how to use them. I spent my summers between each year of university teaching myself. I went on YouTube. You can even subscribe to courses, trainings. They might cost money, but if you care enough or if you're passionate enough about that, if you think you'll really use it, then invest. It's worth it. What you're doing now with this ICYF training, for example, trying to learn new things, advice, all of that, this is very good. You're already on the right track. So if you just keep doing more of that and you teach yourself things that you think will add value to your career or the direction you're trying to go in, then that's definitely what you should be doing. So in my undergrad and my postgrad, even during my master's, they never really taught us how to use any softwares. They only taught us how to use that one that I can't remember the name of, and Adobe Audition. That's it. Everything else I taught myself. So do that. If you want to learn how to do motion graphics or animation, teach yourself, spend the hours, go on YouTube, subscribe to a training course or a master class or something. If you want to learn how to, add those illustrations and the graphs and all of that in your videos, ask YouTube or Google or just learn, because this is what is going to make you different from everyone else who's trying to do what you're trying to do, in the media field, I guess, if that's the direction you're thinking of taking. You need to make yourself valuable by expanding your skill set. And if wherever you study doesn't teach you that, then you teach yourself. That's the best advice I can give you, really. And yeah, that's it. So now I'm ready for questions if you like. Oh, and let me send you my information. So.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bayan. That was a very brilliant presentation. Thanks for your in-depth analysis on how we can how we can create effective social media content. It's really helpful. I myself, for over the past few years, I've been saying to myself that I need to start learning how to edit videos, how to try to create my own content, because I have my own page on Instagram where I usually share my food for thought every Fridays, and I have a hard time doing it because we're all consumed by work. And like you said, I like what you said on the last part of your presentation. We need to educate ourselves. Internet is there to help us. We need to take advantage of it. So I would like to thank you for this presentation. I wouldn't like to talk too much because the priority here is the participants and you as well. So I would like to open the floor for the question and answer session. So I would like to start with our brother Abdikadir Mohammed from Somalia. Please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Eddie, for giving me the opportunity to ask the distinguished guest my question. And also thank you to Bayan Khalid for the insightful and well informative presentation. I like very much the first point that you have started, which says the attention span. There are actually, when you see even the content is competing into our attention. So your content, to get attention, you need to be creative. That is what I understand, and thank you very much for doing that. My question is, for example, when you see the skill set we have, and some of the skill sets that you have already pointed out that we need to educate ourselves, prior to that, when creating wonderful content, creative content, some of the skill sets we have. For example, we can have the idea put in a creative manner, but sometimes we are lacking skills like the infographic making, the kind of editions, all that things. What are the things that you are advising to outsource prior to learning or educating ourselves with these skills? For example, I can give the idea. I can be more creative, but I am lacking in creating more. So do you advise anything to outsource so that and then I can make up that later on? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thank you so much for your kind words. That's an excellent question, and I totally understand. Okay. Well, so yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about, because I face the same things a lot. I still, to this day, even though I teach myself all the time, and I love to learn because I have such a passion for this stuff. Still, there are some things I wish I can do, but I just don't have the skill set to do it. So I completely understand. First thing I'm going to say is it's gradual. You know, this is after years of teaching myself during my free time, you know, when I feel like, okay, I'm bored at home, I have nothing. This is why I don't get bored when I'm at home. And during the coronavirus, when everybody was complaining about, you know, I'm so bored, I'm just sitting at home doing nothing, whatever, I started this Ride with B thing on my Instagram page because I was like, no, I have a passion and I want to use it, you know, like I have a way to entertain myself, even if I'm forced to stay at home. And the way I do that is by teaching myself. So when you find yourself, you know, free time, or there's something that you just really want to learn, then do it. And the reason why I like to learn is because I don't want to feel like I am helpless. I don't want to feel like I have a vision in my head and I can't bring it to life. I want to have the power to do that, which is another reason why I like cooking as well. If I crave something, I don't want to think, oh, where am I going to find a place that's going to do that for me? I could just do it myself. So when you learn, when you teach yourself, you yourself have the power to do whatever vision you have, to apply whatever vision you have in your mind, so that you don't have to rely on something or someone else. So it's gradual. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen like in a night or in a day. Like one whole summer, I spent it teaching myself Photoshop, at least the basics, until I learned enough to to, you know, just be comfortable with it. Another summer, I taught myself a completely different program, InDesign, so that I can design my own CV, because I didn't like the templates that were there online. Another summer, I spent it teaching myself Premiere. So, you know, each summer or each period of time or chunk of time, you're going to spend it on something specific, because it doesn't happen overnight, and you need practice and you need patience, you know. And I'm not a patient person, but if you're passionate enough, you will be patient because you're so excited. Having said that, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the skill set now, but you want to do something now, you can either ask a friend, ask around, you know, or ask a friend of a friend to collaborate with you. Or recently I did a documentary. I haven't published it yet, but I I'm Palestinian originally, and I went to Palestine for the first time in my life, and I wanted to create a documentary out of that. Again, on my own terms. I wasn't involved with any kind of like organization or anything that told me you can't use this, you can't do that, you have to do it this way, you have to, like, I have complete freedom because I did it myself. But in one or two of the videos, I talk less about the country and more about the history. So there was no point in taking shots or including shots of the country. I needed visuals of that like represented history or timeline or whatever. So I needed someone to do animation, which is something I can't do. And it's my next goal, inshallah. Like I'm gonna try to learn how to do animations. But in the meantime, I couldn't do it and I needed it. So actually, my husband told me to go to something called freelancer.com. And this website, sorry, I'm having a dry throat. Freelancer.com. This website, you can find anyone to do anything for you for either really, really cheap if you want like basic quality, or really, really expensive if you want amazing quality. You give them a deadline, you explain the project, and 1,000, like dozens of people will apply or will try to request to do the project for you. And you look over their portfolios, their CVs, their past experience, whatever, and you can decide who you want to pick to do whatever it is you want. So there is that option as well. There are websites. That's the one I used, and I've had good experience with it. But there are websites online that provide freelancers who will do whatever you want for them, but you might have to pay. But that website, Freelancer, based on your budget, you can pay whatever you want, I guess. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bayan. I mean, we don't mind if we can take a short break for you to have some water, because I
don't know what's happening.
Take your time and everything. So I would like to give the floor to our brother from India, Mr. Musab Kazi. Please, you have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Jazakallah for this presentation. My question is, which form of the video, the one without audio narration or the one with audio narration, is most effective? Because the thing about the one with audio narration is it's time consuming. It requires more skills. So and a related question is, since video making is a time consuming activity, do you have any practical suggestions or maybe some tools or softwares that we can use which could bring down the time involved in making videos? Jazakallah.
Thank you so much for your question. So your first question was about which one is better. I can't answer that. I honestly don't know. It depends on your personal preference and the people, your audience. If your audience prefers no audio and to just read, then that's fine. Personally, I think with like the one with someone talking, it depends on the circumstances. So like I said, if you're in a quiet place where, you just want to look at your phone, you don't want to listen to anything, the no audio is the better option. But if the person's not bothered to read and they just want to see and watch and listen, then that would be the better option. So I can't really give you a definitive answer. It really depends on the situation and you, like the creator of the story. So AJ Plus is based on the no audio thing, the no narration stories. But Al Jazeera English, like the news reports, they're based on audio. So it depends also where you're working or your the guidelines or whatnot. The second question I think was about advice for like the time. So yeah, it is time consuming. But during my master's, yeah, it did take a long time because I had to do everything from A to Z. Like I had to make up the story and then find the people who I want to interview and then write the script and then go and film it and then edit it and then submit it. There were so many steps and I had to do all of them. But generally, if you're in a workplace, like when I was in Al Jazeera, they had the footage. It was already there. We just took it from this website, Routers, if you know it. they usually they're the ones who provide the footage and stuff for all those news companies to take it. Like, it's raw footage, and you take it and you edit it and slice it up however you like. So that's all I did. Like, I had the footage, I had everything. All I had to do was edit and write the script. So you might not necessarily have to do everything from A to Z. For my personal videos, like if I'm not working for a certain company, yeah, I do everything from A to Z. But because I like to be comfortable and I'm not a very patient person, the quality doesn't have to be absolutely perfect unless there's something really wrong and I have to fix it, or really obviously wrong that I have to fix it. You know, I just do one take and I write the script, even if it's long. Like I said, if I realize that there's a mistake later, I'll edit it. I won't have to refilm and everything. Yeah, like, you're not gonna figure everything out from the first time. It's gonna take time. You're gonna do it a couple of times until you realize that, oh, okay, next time, to make it easier on myself, I'm gonna do this, this, and that. It just takes experience, I guess, and it depends like what exactly you're doing. Like, yeah, I don't know. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bayan. Please, may I have Mr. Ahmed Abdi from Ethiopia?
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Brian, for your presentation. It was absolutely fantastic. I don't have a, kind of long question. Time is really nearing its end. I just want to ask, I was trying to start a YouTube video in 2020 to help students who are out of school right now, to help them learn, some sort of education. What tips would you recommend me, please? And what techniques and tips would you recommend me for getting starting that, YouTube channel right now? Thanks.
Ms. Bayan, before you reply to that question, let me just give the floor to the last three speakers, if you don't mind. I mean, I'm sorry, not speakers. Those who want to ask their question, and then you could answer them at once. Is that fine with you, or you would still like to take it personally?
No, sure. I'll just take some notes so I don't forget the questions. Again, short attention span, right?
Exactly. No problem. So let's have Miss Zarmina Imtiaz from Pakistan.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. So my question is, what are the tips or key points one should keep in mind while making a video pitch or a teaser?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, my question is that what are the key points one should keep in mind while making a video pitch or a teaser? It could be for any project.
Is it clear, Ms. Bayan?
Yeah, video pitch or thesis. Do you mean like
or a teaser?
Teaser.
Oh,
Yeah.
teaser.
Video, yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Let's have the last. Okay. Sorry, Zarmina. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. I'm done asking. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. Could we have the last two other participants? Mr. Junaid Rafiq, could you ask your question? And then I will end by giving the floor to Mr. Yasir Ahmed from Ghana. Mr. Junaid,
thank you so much, Ms. Bayan, for your impressive presentation. So my question is about the censorship that's always, hovering above us when we're talking about issues like Kashmir and Palestine at the same time. So do you think there is any tactics we can deal with this kind of censorships, particularly by Instagram and YouTube? I hope my question is clear.
So you mean when you talk about controversial issues and
not controversial, not controversial, when there are issues like Palestine and Kashmir, when we make content on them, so there is threat of being censored on Instagram and YouTube particularly. So are there any kind of tactics we can deal with them? Basically, I'm from Kashmir, that's why.
I feel you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Same feeling.
We have our last participant who would like to inquire his question, Mr. Ahmed Jamaldeen from Ghana.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I would like to thank our dear speaker for giving us this great insight on media and video making. So I would like to just make a few contributions as to I also have this e-commerce platform I manage on social media. And as I started along the line, others have recommended a lot of styles to me, which I would like to share with my beloved colleagues, such as an app on phone, which is InShot. You can actually use InShot to make very amazing videos, which I only thought I could do them with the laptop. Also, there are some other apps like Render Forest. It's an online platform you can also use to make animation videos. Within a few minutes, you've just added and made some nice videos for your content on social media. So I believe when we leverage some of these useful apps we can just download from the app stores and use for our videos, I think it's not going to be much of an issue to learn how to utilize them, because not everyone has the leverage of using the laptop or computer to make video animation and design. So that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Ahmed. Ms. Bayan, the stage is all yours.
Great, thank you so much, all of you, for your insightful questions. Okay, so the first question was about YouTube channel on teaching in 2020. So I have a YouTube channel, yes, but I don't use it for like information or anything. Like I said, I use it more as a portfolio for if I like want to apply for a job or whatever, so people can see what kind of skill set I have. I'm not too familiar with YouTube, to be honest. Like I like to watch YouTube, but I completely over the last couple of years switched to Instagram. Like I'm no longer on YouTube much. I just like the only time I'll go on YouTube is if I like want to look up a cooking recipe or like some kind of information that I'm looking for specifically. But YouTube is a nice channel. I just think my tip for you to consider is to go or to use the platform that is rising the most now. So right now, TikTok is rising. I hate saying this because TikTok is so like, I don't know. I consider it so childish. I don't know, but like it's catching. It seems to be what people are doing or what people are on. Me personally, I'm more of an Instagram person. Some people are still on YouTube, so you know, like explore. Like my first step before you decide YouTube or anything else is to explore your options in terms of platforms. After you've done that, if you still want to be on YouTube, I suggest the most important things are to stay consistent. This is like for me when I tried to gain followers in the past. I think the thing, so me and my friend were both doing it at the same time, but she like her page picked up right away, mashallah. And you know, I think at the end of the day, it's God's plan. Like some people, it's like money, you know, it's written. Some people will get followers, some people won't, and that's fine. And I wasn't upset about that. But her page picked up because she was very consistent and very, very active every day. And if not every day, then every week. Like people were expecting that, like, for example, on Saturdays, she's going to have this kind of post. And then on Tuesdays, she's going to have those kinds of posts. And she like made it a trend, you know, and she would get people involved, you know, she'd like tag people or she'd collaborate with people, invite people, all of that stuff. And I think because she had the patience, I personally did not have the patience to go through all of that, but she did. She cared that much, or she was that passionate about her page that it picked up right away. And now she's at about 15 or 16,000 followers. And it's because of that consistency. So stay consistent. Collaboration is key. Like if you find people who also have a following or who are trying to get a following, maybe work together. And obviously, again, make it clear, make it short. Yeah, maybe do it like a weekly thing. I suggest, so what I'm doing for my Instagram page is, or what I did before I started doing these videos is I spent one day after I wrote all the scripts, filming like 4 videos in the same day. I just changed my outfit. That's all I did. And then it was easier for me after that. I just did the editing right away because the filming and the writing the scripts, that takes time. So I do it all at once so that I do the hard part in one day so that I don't feel like, oh, for example, like this week, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time to write a script and film and all of that. I would already have that ready. So all I'd have to do that week is edit it. So make sure that you have a lot of content in advance so that on the weeks that you're busy, you still have something to work with or to post. So that's the first question. The other question was tips for video pitch or teaser. So I actually did that for my documentary. I want to show you, but I don't think I have direct access to it right now. But I do have like a trailer on my my page. Like if you scroll way down, because I went in 2018 and I was supposed to do, like I did the documentary a year later. And then I was supposed to launch it in February this year, but coronavirus, so it got canceled. So I might do it in October. Hopefully somehow the information will reach you, maybe on my Instagram page or maybe with the ICYF team if we tell them about it or something. I don't know, but inshallah, like you'll be able to see it. You'll see the teaser as well. I also did like a 30-second teaser for the documentary. So maybe you can learn a little bit from that when the time comes. But yeah, we're still planning the timeline when that's going to happen. But my advice is put the most interesting shots, like the shots that people are going to be like, whoa, what's going on? Like a lot of the times, and this is a problem, like you'll go to you'll see a movie trailer in the cinema and you'll be like, oh my God, I want to watch that movie. It looks so interesting. And then you watch it and the movie's so boring. It's like nothing like the trailer. But what they do is they put the most interesting shots and information that makes you so curious, because we as human beings are just such curious beings. We want to know what's going on. So if you put these shots, like action shots, a lot of action shots, or like if someone is saying something controversial or someone is saying something like they're angry or they're, you know, they say like something that, you know, you want to know more information from, but you don't really include a lot of those shots. Make sure it's fast, super fast. Like in a teaser or a trailer, the shots are a couple of seconds long, not like 10 seconds long, you know, like that's too long for a trailer, because a trailer or a teaser is like a minute long or 30 seconds. So you want to make sure you include a lot of different shots, and they're all really, really short, and they're all really, really, you know, curious. Like you're just curious to find out more. And obviously make it make sense. Like don't, you know, put like a someone dying scene in the beginning, and then in the and then in the end you put like two people having a conversation, for example. Like make it make sense, like gradual. Okay, so third question was about the censorship. So I don't know if you've heard the thing about Bella Hadid the other day, that she posted like her dad's passport, that he was born in Palestine, and then Instagram censored it, and then she made a big deal, and then, you know, they apologized and all of that. But Bella Hadid is a supermodel. She's got millions of followers on Instagram. So she, like, with just one post, got all the attention, enough attention for Instagram to apologize to her. Us mere human beings that don't have that kind of influence are quite limited when it comes to the whole censorship thing, which is why all I can tell you for now is just to stress, I can just stress as much as possible on the point of being neutral, not using these controversial words like terrorist and, you know, radical and, you know, war. I mean, you may have to use words like war, but like just don't use words that imply anything. Give people the facts and let them deal with it. Let them think on their own. If you stay as neutral as possible, the chances are that they're not going to censor it. But if they do, try posting it again, complain. Honestly, I don't have much experience when it comes to that. I've never posted anything that controversial. But if you have the influence and you have the following, complain to your followers, tell them to take action, and maybe they can help you out. They can report, they can complain as well. I don't know. And the last thing was the tip about the apps that can really help you. Thank you so much. I completely agree. And a lot of times I do subscribe to those apps. Actually, the other day I saw on YouTube an ad for a website that gives you free, not free, like I think you have to pay also, but like they give you shots, like very cinematic looking shots. So outside of like news reporting and topic discussion or whatever, if you want to do like a cinematic type of video, you can take shots from there. No copyright issues or anything. So definitely worth a try. like it's not wrong to outsource or take help from other websites or other people. Very highly encouraged. That's it from my side.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bayan, for that insightful session, and we really appreciate the efforts and the time you've made to reply to all these questions. I hope all the participants here are happy that I gave them the opportunity to as well to ask these questions. So without further ado, Ms. Bayan, it's an honor, and we hope to see you very soon here in Istanbul for our other programs as well. We hope this COVID situation will die out very soon and we could meet in person as well. On behalf of ICYF President and the General Secretary, we would like to thank you for accepting our invitation once more again. And we look forward, like I said, in working with you as well, and of course, in supporting whatever initiatives you have in mind, inshallah. And I would like to also thank our dear participants, and your next session will be tomorrow, and it shall be conducted under the auspices of my other colleagues, who shall be your humble moderators. So without further ado, I would like to conclude the session, and hopefully we'll meet each other very soon. May God bless you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Ms. Bayan, again once more.